Hi, Chris and Peaches. First, I want to say that I absolutely love your show.
I love that you called it a show.
I know, me too. It has given me a lot of insight into relationships to help me become the best partner I can be. Thank you times 3. They did not say times 3. They wrote it out 3 times. I just don't want to say that. You can totally read this on your show if you see fit. I would love to hear your thoughts. I'm going to try to add in as much detail as I can, so that way any questions you guys have, I'll hopefully answer them throughout this. I just hit the space button and my thing jumped. I'm currently 22 and have left a relationship about 7 months ago. Started dating my ex-partner when I was 18 and he was 22. He is the very first person I've ever dated. We dated for a little over 3 years and split this past December. There were lots of circumstances leading up to my decision to leave him. The first 6 months of our relationship were mostly fine. However, I did find that he was starting to take advantage of me and not treat me the best after that point. At the 6-month mark, he came to me and told me his lease was terminated and he had nowhere else to go. I did let him move in with me with the mutual expectation that it was temporary because I felt guilty for wanting to say no. However, letting him move in so soon was 100% on me. I'm glad you recognized that. And I've hoped you've grown past the people pleasing.
Yep.
People fish around me. They fish for me to offer things to them instead of just outright asking me.
Right.
And I will never respond to a fishing. Either you have the balls to ask me outright or you don't. Not saying that he was fishing for that kind of thing. Hypothetically, if he was like, oh, my lease is going to get terminated, I got nowhere to go, my family's abandoned me. Damn, bro, that sucks. You'll figure it out. You'll stand back up. Life is rough sometimes. I know you can do this. I'm not offering a place to stay. I'm good on that.
Right.
Anything you want to add?
Actually, I just wanted to make sure that to see if she's okay with us using this, if we save it and maybe use it for a podcast, because it's the first time we're doing this, and I would like to gauge people's reactions to see if this is something we should be doing in the future.
Okay.
So just give me like a verbal, yes, you can use it, or please don't post it to YouTube. That way I know. That would be dope.
You probably can. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Dope.
Dope. All right. So, not to harp on this, I just want to solidify. If you are not comfortable with something, especially with somebody invading your sanctuary, follow your gut feeling on that.
Yeah.
Don't sacrifice yourself for somebody else, even if you are dating for X amount of time. If it doesn't sit right with you, you should pay attention to that.
Yeah. I'm real big on the home being the castle.
Yeah.
And it is your safe space. Like, it is the only place that's fucking yours. Mm-hmm. And I am very big on keeping the sanctity of the house. That's why we don't invite people to our home very often.
Yeah.
And when we do, we talk about it first. Like, nobody ever just shows up at our house.
Yeah, I have upset family with, you're not staying here.
Yeah. Because they expect it.
Right, they do.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, he never moved out, which I felt was okay for us financially as we were splitting bills, and the lease was revised and had both of our names on it. Eventually, he would start taking advantage of the situation by not paying us half of rent payments and utility bills some months on top of other household expenses. In these situations, I would take over and pay the full amounts because they were in my name. I didn't want to risk a bill going unpaid and my credit tanking. And he said he was having a hard time with money and would pay me back. He never did, but I truly didn't hold that against him.
Okay. So the important thing there is you never loan what you can't afford to lose.
Yes.
Because there's a strong possibility that you will never get the money back that you give to somebody. Mm-hmm. And it will absolutely destroy relationships, family shit, like.
Yeah. So the conversation moves on. So I want to ask, in this situation where you're covering his half of bills and he's struggling with money, is he spending money on hobbies? Is he going out to eat regularly? Is he spending a lot of money on beer, video games?
So he would spend a lot of his money on like party things. So like alcohol, occasionally like weed, all of that,
Gotcha.
prioritizing that over the bills and things. But he'd still go out to eat. He'd take me out to dinner, and just say like, "Oh, I got paid today." And then I'm thinking, I'm gonna get my money back, or at least a little bit. But like you said, Chris, you don't loan something out without having the understanding of like, hey, I'm probably not gonna get that back. If I do, cool. If not, okay.
Okay, so
But yeah, so he would spend
before you
his money
mute,
other places.
let me ask you this then. Do you think that there's a possibility that he might have saw taking you out to dinner, doing the small little monetary thank yous as a possible repayment, or him carrying his own weight?
110%.
Okay.
Even though I had mentioned like, hey, our rent, $700 doesn't equate, it doesn't balance out
Right.
to a dinner once every month.
So you did actually articulate that to him though.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Good.
cool. Then he can't be ignorant to the fact, like he knew.
Right. Okay.
So this works. This is dope. Like
Yeah.
that just eliminated a whole lot of hypothetical nonsense.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Thank you. I grew up with a mother who was absent, as she didn't want kids and wanted to party and do drugs instead.
She said that was a one sentence thing.
Huh?
She said in the chat that the little bit about her mom was just a one sentence
okay.
thing. There's not like
Gotcha.
yeah.
Mothers like that, I think, are scum of the earth.
Yeah.
If you don't want children, don't have children. He would throw my mommy issues in my face whenever there was conflict, laugh at me or mock me when I cried, and criticize the way I talked, pronunciations and eliminating my southern accent, or dressed so I could be a boss woman.
I need to know what that means.
A boss woman?
No, the dress to be a boss woman, because in my idea that means you're wearing a pinstripe suit.
Pinstripe.
Pinstripe suit.
Yes.
Right. And some fucking Louis heels and like, Tory Burch bag. You know what I mean? Like you're dressing like money if you're going to be the boss bitch. Or is he trying to like, what does that mean?
So essentially, like, I couldn't wear leggings, even if it was like working out or doing anything around the house. So no leggings, no t-shirts, basically just like things that you would wear to go to some sort of like business event.
Oh,
basically like business appropriate things.
Okay.
Like dresses and really nice tops and like dress pants, nice pants, that type of thing. No sneakers, no flip-flops, closed-toed shoes, no sandals, nothing like that. Basically like heels or dress shoes type of
Did
vibe.
he actually ask for that? Like that was like verbalized?
So it wasn't, it was just a thing of if I was like running up to the gas station to go grab something really quick, and I just so happened to be wearing like a pair of leggings and a t-shirt, fully covered, of course. But if I was like running up, it would be a thing of me being talked down to, of why aren't you dressing to the nines when you're going out? I'm like, bro, I'm going right up the street. So that type of thing, but it was always.
So it's like a passive aggressive put down, like that low key judgment of you're gonna wear that to go outside.
Yes.
All right, man. Here's a lesson for you. If you're listening to this, shut the fuck up and go to the store for your woman. If she's not dressed and she just got to run to the gas station to grab something real quick, you need to jump in your car and go do that, or take her car and fill it up with gas while you're there. Like this is not one of those things that should have ever been done. I don't care if you're wearing leggings and a t-shirt or a tank top or a fucking sports bra. I'm gonna hype you up. I think that you're fucking banging no matter what you look like. Do I like you in a dress? Absolutely. Because it's easy access and there's a whole lot of fun things that can happen in public when you're in a dress, and that's a me thing. But I would be damned if somebody was like, can you believe the way she's dressed? And me just like, I will knock your fucking teeth out, bro. Like, I don't get that. That mentality just does not work for me.
The laughing at and mocking while crying.
Psychological warfare.
It takes a lot in me to not get physical with somebody. when they do that. I'm not a fucking joke.
Yeah. You're conditioning your person to not ever express their emotions by doing that.
You're also conditioning them into the mindset that their pain is not something to be taken seriously.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're not going to ever talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to become a shell. Men do it. It happens to men all the time when their emotions aren't being validated or thrown back in their face as weak. It works both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Is the food approaching?
No, I just got an inkling that something happened, and no, just now the food's been picked up.
Oh.
So, 'tis on the way. I love my new tiny phone. I wish it was smaller.
Really?
Yeah.
You could go to the regular iPhone.
What do you mean the regular?
They have you got the Pro. You could go to the regular one, which is oh no, it's not the same size.
Yeah.
Never mind. Ignore me.
I remember, I want to say it was like 3 or 4 years ago. iPhone came out with an iPhone Mini.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love that. Little tiny ass thing, lose it so frequently people stop getting in contact with me. No, I can't do that. I run a business now. I have things to do and people to be and people to talk to, places to be. He also had an issue with commenting on other women's bodies in front of me and would point out women in public and tell me how I should look more like them.
Don't ever accept that from a partner.
No, never. Men or women. Absolutely unacceptable. I was young and stupid at the time and thought that he was criticizing my appearance and thought that, his criticizing my appearance and how I talked and acted were because he loved me. Ladies, men who act this way are single for a reason. They seek out women
That they can manipulate.
that they can manipulate and control and will never talk back, will never stand up for themselves. They look for women who get upset and cry instead of getting angry and arguing back because you go inwards and blame yourself instead of outwards and questioning why is this happening.
Right.
Your self-worth means everything to you as a human being. Never tolerate this.
The idea of a man or woman, for that matter, I guess, of a person that gets into a relationship with somebody and then tries to sculpt them, I view that the same as grooming a child.
I agree.
And I think that a lot of that does come down to self-worth. And like she said, she was 18 when they met.
Right.
You guys, I know that like you're an adult at 18 years old, but we are sheltered so much more with helicopter parenting and all the shit that goes on in the home that people don't have the same
Food's approaching.
structure that they used to. So there's not like that sense of grow the fuck up that we had when I was a kid.
Right.
And that affects maturity.
Is it really approaching or is he? He talked down to me often and always reminded me that he was doing more than me as he was. I'm sorry. Weren't you paying his rent?
Okay, there's a whole lot in that though.
Yeah.
Finish your thought process because I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting you.
No.
But that was a really good point. That was a good point.
Yeah. I don't remember where I was going with that.
That's the dangle it over your head thing.
Yeah.
Look at everything I do for you. Like,
I take you out to eat.
right. That's not something
Yeah.
that should ever be had in a healthy relationship. That's keeping score in a
No.
very negative way, right?
Yeah. We never do that.
No.
There has never once been, I do this for you.
I'll read you something.
Okay.
I'm gonna read everyone something because this is very relevant to what was just said. Above all, I think one of the most important lessons a man can learn from you is that you don't always have to be the main character. You've mentioned it at least once on the podcast that much of the podcast success is due to Peaches. Having a female voice in the conversation has greatly increased the reach of the podcast. Many men still struggle with not being the leading role in the success of their family, and watching you continuously support and encourage Peaches to take a leading role in the podcast is a testament to your character as a man. It goes on. But that is the way that you are supposed to lead by example. In this situation, there's obviously not a child in this, but in the event that there was a child in that home, him witnessing or her witnessing the parents having this kind of interaction is going to teach that generational bullshit. Like, ladies, men, anyone, if you're in a relationship and you have somebody that's not hyping you up and pushing you and like it's all about me, this says a lot about the need to actually coexist together. It's not healthy. Let them me the fuck by themselves and don't feed that.
Yeah. Okay, I interrupted that sentence. I was just so flabbergasted at somebody having the audacity to say, just remember, I do more than you. By the way, thanks for covering $900 worth of bills for me this month. He was working a day job and working on a side hustle for 3 to 5 hours after work. At that time, I was keeping up with the housework, laundry, cooking, and cleaning, working full-time, and attending school online full-time. During this time, I also helped him take care of his terminally ill mother and was taking care of my dad after having a life-changing heart attack and surgery.
Ooh, you're getting angry.
Is it that obvious?
It is to me.
I'm infuriated. So I'm going to read this again. He was working a day job and working on his hobbies for 3 to 5 hours after work to make income for his alcohol problem along to party with his buddies. At the same time, I was keeping up with the housework, doing our laundry, cooking for us, and maintaining our home, working full-time to pay for the bills as well as cover his,
Wow.
and attending school online full-time to better prosper my future.
This relationship ended, right?
Yes,
Okay.
back in December.
Okay.
I read it that way to drive the point home that people who manipulate will 100% do it when they are in the deficit of things being done in the relationship. You're doing all of that while going school online full time to not only better your future, you're with this man, you're trying to better his future too, and he's still shitting on you.
Yep. I'm very curious as to the purpose of all of this. Because the relationship ended.
Right.
I'm so intrigued.
During this time, I also helped him take care. Oh, I already read that. But that also just jogged my memory. You're helping his mama while helping your dad. The good soul in me says it is honorable of you to go out of your way for a man who has done you so dirty to help his mom. She had absolutely nothing to do with your relationship problems. You still showed up anyway because you saw another human being at the end of it. And you had compassion. There was empathy. I hope he appreciated that. Did he appreciate that? Oh, don't tell me he did not.
Not really. And I'll go ahead and foreshadow. When I was breaking up with him, the one thing he said that night was that his mom would hate to know that I was dumping him, and she would hate me.
I would have kicked him in the dick. That would have been it for me. I'm going to be honest.
What a stupid fucking thing to say to somebody.
That's the manipulation, though.
But she's not with the mom. She's with him.
Right.
And my response to that would have been, well, when you tell her that we broke up, you can let her know it was your fault and actually be honest with her and tell her what you did and the way you've treated me this whole time so that she can understand that she raised a piece of shit son.
No, well, at that point...
And she can feel just as guilty.
Well...
She passed.
At that,
so, yeah,
passed.
it was
I
a little
must have
too late.
missed
Yeah. So
now I feel like a dick.
No,
it's fine.
Mouth.
So I'm assuming that you and her had a very close bond. For him,
Yeah, she was like my mom.
I believe that. For him to use that as manipulation at the end of the relationship, that was one final dig to you. That's just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Yeah, I would have kicked him in the dick. That would have been it for me. That's such a low blow. Like that, I would never do that to a man. I would, though. In that situation, building on top of building on top of building, and you're going to throw your mom's death in my face,
I must not have heard that over my crunchy French fries because I totally didn't hear the death thing.
Well, she didn't say that she passed, but she was using past tense of the way that he was speaking to her. My mother would have been so upset. She would hate you for this. If she were, that gives me if she were still alive.
Yeah.
Grab his dick and twist it.
People are enjoying this format.
Yeah. Okay. I'm slowly doing things to prepare my food to start eating, and I'm pushing it out of the way because I have to keep reading. I've moved my jalapenos out of the way so I can get them at my leisure. I've opened my ranch.
Lorraine said somebody tag Peaches in Discord so she doesn't forget to bring the silverware.
That's such a good call. I need to order. I'm gonna.
Lorraine coming in clutch.
I while we were in Vegas, I bought chopsticks, so those have to go into my purse. I have to buy a travel set of silverware.
We have them. They're sitting on the top of the fridge in a box.
Word.
They came for free as a gift.
Hell yeah. Excuse me. Okay. About 2 years into a relationship, we went to a concert and he was drinking and eventually got very aggressive towards me, verbally and physically. I don't want to go into further detail on that as I know talking about abuse on the podcast isn't necessarily allowed.
I appreciate that because that shit makes me irate.
Yes. Yes, it does. This altercation was very traumatic for me, and the next day I tried to talk to him about it in detail because he said he couldn't remember and wasn't going to apologize for something he didn't think happened. I'm so glad he's an ex.
I don't believe that.
You don't believe what?
That he didn't remember it.
Oh, I bet he 100% remembered it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because saying I don't remember removes the accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And it prevents him from having to apologize.
Right.
Because in the event that I didn't actually remember doing something, you were like, babe, you said this last night when you were drunk. I'd be like, oh my fucking God, I'm so sorry. Did I say that? Like, you would knee-jerk reaction apologize, especially if it's out of character, right?
And knowing you're not a drinker. If you were, and I came to you and said, babe, last night, like, after you had a few drinks, you said this to me and I'm kind of fucked up about it, you would quit cold turkey.
I wouldn't drink anymore.
Right.
I'm not going to do anything that's going to put our relationship in a detriment. I'm just not. Like, I'm happier than I've ever been in my entire fucking life. In every facet, my mental health is better than it's ever been. Our finances are fucking dope. We've got new businesses in the work. And on top of all of that dope shit, my relationship is almost perfect. Like, I've never experienced this level of success in a relationship ever in my fucking life. And if you were like, I don't like you doing that, and if you continue to do that, it could put us at jeopardy, I'm done. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
It's not a hard concept. If you sacrifice for the things that matter.
Right. I go as far to pay attention to your facial expressions.
I know you do.
And if I do or say something and I see your fucking eye twitch, I know your body language. Noted. Never fucking saying that again. Not gonna joke like that again. Done. He also, oh wait, he got upset and, I skipped some things. Where am I at? What am I doing?
The last sentence you read was he wasn't going to apologize for something that he didn't think happened.
She's fucking on
Oh, I
it.
got it. Dope. Do you have the email in front of you?
Absolutely.
Hell
Because
yeah.
I needed to double check. So I'm scanning it before you read it to make sure I didn't like throw something in there that I shouldn't have.
Oh, that's
Because
a
I don't
good
want
call.
you guys to read it if so.
This is good.
This is, yeah.
Okay.
This is the only way I think I want to do live email reads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you, by the way, because I found it. I appreciate that. I tried to explain the events of the night prior, but he got upset and he said he was too embarrassed to talk about it. I thought he didn't remember it. So back to back, he contradicted himself.
Yeah, he's lying.
Yeah,
I called that though.
right. He also said it wasn't him that did those things the night prior, that it was the alcohol's fault, and that it was a monster built up inside of him. And I bet he did not stop drinking after that.
He didn't.
Could you read that line one more time, please?
The very last, and that it was the monster built up inside of him.
So he basically just shifted all of that and took no accountability or,
Right.
and there's no shame or guilt there. That
No.
wasn't me. It's Jessica. Like,
Jessica.
right? Like,
Yeah, no, he 100% skirted it. We're shooting at the ground and he's dancing about that shit. It was the alcohol's fault. It wasn't him. It was the monster built up inside of him, mixed with the alcohol. Otherwise, I would have never said those things. You can't blame me. It was the monster and the alcohol. That mindset's so weak to me. I 100%, no, I can't say that because that's also a very damaged person.
did he ever do anything like this in front of his friends?
So there was one instance where he was yelling at me in front of some of my friends who were people that he kind of knew, where he like screamed at me and then like yanked me across the street. But I'm fine.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went out with some friends and they were, I guess you would consider them mutual friends, mine and his.
Whose friends were they
and
first?
he was yelling at me in public and like pulled me away and like across the street to go talk on the other side of the street because he thought that they wouldn't be able to hear him yelling at me. And they said stuff after the fact to me. I didn't know they saw it until like a month or two after when I ended up dumping him.
Okay, so 2 questions. Were they his friends or were they your friends first?
Originally his,
Okay.
and then I befriended the girl after she divorced one of his friends.
So there was males in the group while this happened,
Yes.
and
Yes.
nobody stepped in and did anything.
No.
You were only as good as the company you keep, and that
all
alone
pussies.
should have been enough for you to know that this is not a safe situation for you to be in.
Yeah.
I dropped them. I no longer talk to them, and it's been probably about, I guess, 10 months since this happened.
I have four people in my life that I truly love that are male and would go to war with. But in the event that I saw this, we would fight. Like, you're not going to berate your woman like that and like do that kind of shit in front of me.
Yeah.
And because my friends know that they're held accountable like that, like they can't misbehave in front of all of our social circle because everyone else will step in. And I think that there's an accountability that happens in those kind of groups that makes men be held to a higher standard. And the entire point of all of that is that you are the company you keep. And if his friends think this is okay, he thinks it's okay. So, I don't know.
You have to be such a broken and damaged, not even a human being, but your soul. Your soul is fragmented to think it's okay to treat another human being this way. And just to stand by idly and to let it happen. Each time I would try to check in with him and let him know how I was feeling and see if he was feeling the same way or thought if anything needed to be improved. Those conversations were shut down, and I was told he was too busy and just wanted a no maintenance relationship.
Hey,
So-
Peaches, you skipped a little sentence
Oh,
that I
did
think
I?
is kind of important.
Okay, so each time I would try to check in with him and let him know.
The
How-
sentence before that one.
Oh, the
Sorry.
sentence before that one. Oh, I see it now. Okay. Over the
Sorry.
next year. No, thank you. If you did not say something, I would have kept going. Over the next year, I kept trying to push for talking about it and other issues in our relationship. A lack of intimacy, my advances being deflected, him controlling what I said or did, and us not spending time together. Each time I would try to check in with him and let him know how I was feeling and see if he was feeling the same way or thought if anything needed to be improved. Those conversations were shut down, and I was told he was too busy and just wanted a no-maintenance relationship. So I read that, a no-maintenance relationship, and read that he just wants a fuck doll.
Right. He doesn't want to have to work for it. He wants a slave.
Yeah.
He wants somebody that's going to do whatever the fuck he says, take care of him, so that he can just go about his life.
I'm glad he's an ex. I know I've already said that. You deserve so much better than this.
Sorry, I have a whole lot of shit going on that I didn't catch.
You're good. I am chewing. I admit that I did want to check in with him often on different topics of concern in our relationship and try to talk about issues about once or twice a week. However, they were always shut down. I ultimately decided to end our relationship due to all of these factors and feeling like I wasn't allowed to talk to him unless it was about his work. Do I need to wait or are you okay?
No, I'm listening. She's feeling not allowed to talk to him unless about his work. I am listening. My kid asked me to send her some money, so I'm just...
Flash forward to the present day. A friend told me that he is now making posts on social media about me. He has publicly called me a weak woman for not standing by him when he was facing his demons, and that a real woman would stand by her man. A real woman would stand by her man. Does he have acrylic nails when he said that?
Yeah, but you have to be a man to actually expect your woman to stand by you.
Right.
Right? So you can't use that in a sentence.
When you're not a man.
Right. When you're acting like a bitch, you can't. You know what I mean? Like, because that's the way this whole thing is read so far.
Yeah. And not leave while he's trying to work through them. So did he include in all of that defacing on you on social media that every time that you tried to work through with him, he shut it down? Likely, no. Why? That would be an omission because that makes him look like shit. You said the breakup was 10 months ago.
Yes. So that was in December
So why? Oh,
of last year.
so this flash forward to present day is not today?
No, he's still posting about me.
Oh.
Is that song by Joni Mitchell? Oh no, oh no, it seems to go. You don't know what you got until it's gone.
That's
Which I posted in the chat. If we want direct quotes of the exact words he said, I have the post. But that might be too much.
Excuse me.
Yeah, let's skip that.
Okay, cool.
That's very broken soul he has. All right. Moving on. My conflict with these statements is that I feel that I did try to help him and I did try to communicate. What? No, you should not have any conflict with these statements. You know what you did. You know what he did. Anybody who believes him, you would not want to associate with anyway.
Right.
So you should feel indifferent to these comments. In all honesty, you should feel a little bit sad for him, knowing that this man is still living in the past and is going through the turmoil that he's going through, and you are still on a journey of growing in your life.
It's important to remember that you are always going to be the villain in somebody's story.
Oh, yeah.
But your story is the one that matters.
Yep.
So, like, you know, if somebody hates you, I have a lot of people who hate me. For the longest time, I truly thought that somebody was going to kill me in a restaurant one night while I'm eating. Like, I've done a lot of really foul shit in my life. But I'm the best version of me now, and I'm not done yet. Like, I still have a whole lot of growth to happen. And, like, I'm going to continue to grow and improve and be better. So I can be the villain to the people in the last 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, especially in the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. They can hate me all the fuck they want, but they're hating an idea of somebody that I was And those same people are the people, and this is a Facebook meme, but those are the same people that will never tell people how much you did for them and how much, you loved them and the way that you took care of them. And your story. Gives a shit what the other people are reading. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's important to me. And that's that I use that a lot when I think about the things that people are being, are saying about me. That shit used to really get to me when people would question my character.
Oh, yeah. I would want to know what everybody's saying.
Right.
I would obsess over it.
Now I don't give a shit. I don't even want to see it. When people are like, hey, did you see what so-and-so said about you? I'm like, nope. And my life is dope as fuck. You can save that.
I blew little kiss.
Yeah. I don't care.
Thanks for thinking about me.
Don't care.
Good to know I still piss you off.
Tell me why they're so comfortable saying that shit to you.
Good question. I also have an issue with the fact that he's blasted me on social media with my name involved, and all of my friends and family have likely seen it or will see it, but he's only telling his side of the story. Your friends and family should know your character.
Right.
If your friends and family see this and they start to question who you are as a human being, fuck them.
That also means that if that's not the case, it means that the relationship that you have with them is a social media relationship and not a genuine one. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't worry about that.
This man still has a control over you.
Yeah.
You may be out of the relationship now, but this man still has a psychological hold on you, and this is going to be the hardest hold you have to sever. Who is telling you all of this?
That's a good question, too. I would write them the fuck off.
Yeah. Or do you still have him on Facebook? Like, how are you finding out all of this stuff about him?
So he is blocked on everything. I don't have access to like phone numbers blocked. I mean, I blocked him even down to like Venmo.
Oh, wow.
So it's excessive. But it's kind of some of the mutual friends that are like, hey, I just want to make you aware, like if somebody approaches you with this statement. And since I wrote this, I have told them that I don't want to know the contents of it because it's not worth my time.
Right. That's the way to handle that.
Yeah.
When I wrote this, it was still very fresh. He was still trying to reach out to me and stuff. So that's kind of where some of this, where it bothered me. It doesn't bother me as much now.
That's good.
And my family is definitely on my side. I think I was scared that they weren't going to be. And the people that haven't been on my side and have sided with him, I'm like, okay, don't really need you in my circle. So I'm good with my 2-3 people that I have now.
Yep. They are showing you who they really are by siding with him. They're condoning his behavior.
Yeah. How long have you been following the podcast?
I've been following since I think early December.
Okay. So then
I'm not going to lie, you guys kind of have pushed me to be like, okay, yeah, this isn't normal.
Well, that's good.
And so that was a contributing factor. So I tried some of the check-ins and that just wasn't, he said it was embarrassing. And I was like, okay.
It's embarrassing because he knows what he is doing is not okay.
Right. We had somebody earlier today on your TikTok say that their boyfriend didn't want to listen to our podcast because he felt like it was beta shit.
Yes.
And it's an excuse. These are people literally just making excuses to not have to level up their game. If you've been listening since December, I know that you've heard us talk about the psychological effects of large groups. It used to be that we would never experience more than 100 relationships over the course of our life. Not like intimate relationships, but just connections, right? So our brain is not meant to handle the data of
millions of people and their opinions and their thoughts.
Right. And we put so much stock in the outside perception of who we are as a person. It's why we buy nice clothes and drive nice cars and like the outside appearance of who we are as a person matters to a lot of fucking people. But it should not be more than 100 because that's what we've lived the entire existence for the last 10,000 years because, most people didn't even never moved more than 30 miles away from their house. Like that was the most anyone had ever traveled at that point. It was very uncommon for people to go hundreds of miles. So now that we have this social media and we have all of the psychological data coming in, it's very hard for us to separate and to disconnect and do that because we are still inundated with all this information. And social media is very good about throwing that back in your face to keep you engaged, because the longer you're on the app, the more ads they can sell you. But on the friends subject, about the mutual friends that were coming through, and you telling them like, hey, I don't want to hear this anymore. It doesn't matter to me. Like, those are the people that you don't want in your life, because even though they sound like they're trying to like just want to give you a heads up, when in reality, if they gossip to you, they gossip about you. So had you been like,
Yes.
well, blah, 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 they went right back to him and was like, just so you know, she said da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And that cycle continues. Close that book. Move on.
I wanted to touch on that too. I don't need a heads up.
Right.
If somebody comes to me with that something, hey, I saw on Facebook, I don't care what you saw on Facebook.
Yep.
Next. I know what I put out there.
Yeah.
I'm good. I don't care what so-and-so said in the comments. You have to find a level of, I'm at peace with who I am as a person. And people are easily persuaded.
Yeah.
Our government has shown us that. It is very easy to appeal to the subconscious of somebody to get them to see what you want to see. You can be a fucking amazing illusionist with just your words.
Yep.
And if people in life are so easily put under a spell of words by a manipulator, you don't want them in your circle anyway. I really want to get your thoughts on this, and as I do value your opinions, I had a strong victim mentality after I left. Oh, excuse me. But I have put the work in, and I feel like I have finally gotten to the point where I am past that and I'm ready to start dating again.
Good.
Yes. Am I a weak woman for not staying after my attempts to support him?
No.
No. If anything, I think you're a stronger woman after being with him.
Right.
He showed you everything to not tolerate in a relationship.
Yep.
And pay attention to red flags. When you get out there in the dating world, things are going to be new and exciting, and there's mysteries and people and fun times. Do not be blinded to the red flags that you saw in your ex.
Right.
Don't go, oh, well, it's just one thing. It was just one thing with him, too.
Yeah. There's a phrase in the Dom sub community called a hard no. And there is a benefit to having that in your daily life, right? Like, there are things that you are just not willing to accept from anyone, no matter what, because you know your worth or because it could put you in danger, whatever the case is. And it's very beneficial for people to write down their hard no's because you're enforcing it, right? Yeah. Get that corn on a cob. Oh, wait, I turned another camera off. Okay. Sorry, that was funny. I couldn't resist that.
That was good. That was funny.
So having that, I don't even remember where I was going. The corn on cob thing totally just derailed. Anyways.
Want me to get back into the email?
Yeah.
All right. If so, what traits do you think we as women can always work on to better support our men? Hold them to a standard.
Yeah. You want to hit what a standard is? Do you remember that conversation?
A
rule is a standard. So when you're setting rules, you are setting the standard in your house.
Yeah. I don't remember that conversation verbatim.
No. No biggie.
We have a lot of conversations.
I know. I'll have to find the clip because it was
Okay.
actually something that Transformation Church posted about how a man is supposed to lead by setting a standard. And you can't rule your home if you don't adhere to the standards you set.
Yeah.
But somebody said you can use hard nose in real life. Yeah, you can. It's setting boundaries and not accepting less than. And sometimes that means pushing people out of your life. Sometimes it's better to not have people in your life and preserve your peace than it is to constantly live in that disruptive state.
Either both of those situations are going to hurt.
Right. Yeah. choose
Which
your
one
hurt.
do you want to live with?
Yep. Lorraine, save that question because I want to answer that before we're done. But I don't want to leave on the call while we continue doing this.
How far is too far to go when supporting your partner? When you start to overlook their behavior to almost enabling it.
That's not supporting. That's not supporting. Supporting
No,
is,
it's not.
Supporting would be like, babe, I want to do this Bath and Body line. I'm like, cool. What do we got to do to make that happen?
Right.
That's me supporting you. If you were like, if we were just dating and you were like, I need $20,000 to do a Bath and Body line. And then you try to manipulate me into giving you that money versus us allowing me to like actually help you kind of thing. It's a different scenario. Support can be an emotional thing.
Right.
I just don't, I don't know. I think that this scenario, there was not a reason to ever support any of that because her taking care of him was not supporting.
That was enabling.
It was enabling. Yes. You good.
That's what I said the first time. What can I do to vet out future partners to determine if they are safe people? Pay attention to their friend group.
Yeah.
Pay attention to what they listen to on podcasts. They have
Court them.
Huh?
Court them.
Yeah, court them. If they are massive fans of the whatever podcast,
Yeah.
that's cool. I'm going to move away from that. Phase out into the bush. Pay attention to how people talk about them. If you meet his friends and there are some passive-aggressive comments, or maybe they bring up his ex and it's a super shitty situation, don't overlook that.
Yeah, those are warnings. They're trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Because men will do that shit, especially men who are interested in the same woman.
Yeah.
But that's dirty business anyways. I think the answer to that is to understand that the younger generation is so fast because everything is instant. You can stream all your TV shows immediately. You don't have to wait next week for the episodes to come out.
I get pissed off at commercials now.
Right.
Yeah.
But we have Amazon Prime. You can get whatever the fuck you want delivered sometimes same day.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like we have that instant gratification. You don't have to leave your house to get food anymore. Like it's all just right there. And because we are so used to that, we rush everything in terms of our relationships because we're used to that instant gratification. We just want that end result of what's coming. And we fail to realize that there's a whole lot of prep work that gets to that end result. So court, slow down, date somebody for a little while, talk to them, make sure they're not talking to other people. Have the hard conversations. Do you want to get married one day? Do you want to have kids? What does it look like to be married to you? What kind of a house do you want to own? What are your goals? Not your dreams, your goals, because
your
there's a
retirement?
difference, right? Do you have a retirement? What's your credit score?
Are you investing?
Yeah.
We even had that conversation of, are you talking to other people right now?
Yeah. We had it a couple times because I was super insecure.
I don't think you were super insecure. I think it was, you know what dating is now.
Yeah. No, I was pretty insecure. I'll own that full chest. Yep. I have told you since the beginning of this that you are like a 10 and I'm like a 3. And when I say that shit, I'm not joking. Like I truly believe that you were way the fuck out of my league. So in the beginning of this, I was very insecure. I was just waiting for somebody else to come and scoop you up and be like, yep, I realize what I'm bye. And like,
I was waiting for the same thing. That's crazy. It's wild that we both felt that way.
yeah,
I think you're the 10 in the relationship.
I think you're wrong. The French prince said he's leaving and said that he enjoyed the interaction and think you two be better.
Have a good night. I am new to dating, and the experience above is the only relationship I've ever had. Well, good news, it's only up from here.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully. I want to make sure that I get someone's objective opinion on how I can improve and how I can be a stronger partner for someone in the future. I would 100% start working on your self-worth.
Yeah.
There are days where I'm very hard on myself and I have a hard time with my body dysmorphia, and I think that I'm just an absolute piece of shit human being. A lot of the time, I am very at peace with who I am, and I'm a very confident person. And my confidence and my self-esteem is one of the things that drew you to me.
It absolutely is. Your gratitude was another one.
Yeah.
When I met you, I was in one of the worst depressions of my life. It lasted for almost a decade. It was like 6 years of shit. But you were always that light. Like, and I've said that since the beginning of all of this, but that, the gratitude was a big one for me. And not the appreciation, because that's gratitude. The affirmations, like you just believed in me. right off rip, like there was never, you just never doubted anything. Like, and if I started to doubt myself, you put a kibosh to that shit. Like there was a whole lot of things that were very different in the way that you treated me that I just wasn't used to ever being treated by. And it drew me, like it sucked me right the fuck in. Like it's, I don't know.
And you have to be genuine with it.
Right.
I'm still that person. That hasn't changed. You have to commit yourself to being that kind of person. There were a lot of times where I would be that person for a month or two, and then I would just fall back into, there were so many unaliving, can I say the S word on this?
No, because we're going to just leave it that way.
There were so many unaliving jokes and memes that I would share on Facebook. Nobody wanted to talk to me because I was depressed and I was miserable and I was constantly complaining. And my friend group was just a bunch of depressed pieces of messes complaining about life, and I don't want to do this anymore. That was my day-to-day life.
Right.
So it is a commitment to have the charisma and the confidence and the gratitude and the support that I have. Even when I'm having a really hard time and we're having a conversation, you say something and it triggers my frustration, like my BPD. I'm just gonna say it triggers my BPD. That's something that I have to keep in check in the moment. So I'm on a fucking emotional roller coaster. And in that moment, I still have to support you because you're telling me something about your dreams.
Right.
So it is a full-time commitment, and it's a lot of self-growth, and it's a lot of trial and error. Did all of that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I have a question about the self-worth thing that she asked, though, and it could be different for you than it is for me. Having gratitude in my day-to-day life, simple things. God, thank you for this meal.
Yeah.
God, thank you for this woman in my life. Thank you for this car. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, you start taking account of the wins instead of focusing on the losses. The small things no longer come, I should just control alt delete myself because I stepped on a rock and I don't have a shoe on. You know what I mean? Like, because when you have those lows, everything is a big fucking deal.
Right.
And as you teach that gratitude to yourself, do you think that increases your self-worth? Because now you're keeping stock of the things that you have in life.
Yeah. So when I was in one of the worst depressions of my life after I left my ex-husband and I was a single mom, I was paying all of my bills, I was barely making ends meet, and I was at my highest weight. It started with me, I would force myself to look in the mirror for 5 minutes, and I would tell myself I'm a good person. I make people laugh. Things that I know that I do. Right? I donate money to schools. I will pay for people's meals at restaurants and shit. I care about my kids' feelings. And then from there, it evolved to I'm a good mom. I finally started believing that in myself. So I would tell myself that while I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I don't remember what your question was.
You answered it, though. You're building yourself up by giving yourself affirmations and gratitudes for the things that you have.
Okay.
You standing in the mirror for 5 minutes looking at yourself, giving yourself positive affirmations is you building the confidence in yourself. It's building that self-worth. Because after you look at yourself in the mirror every day for 6 months telling yourself that you're a good mom, no one's going to be able to tell you otherwise because you've built that belief in yourself because you've put that in your brain. You are perceiving your reality as you being a good mom. And it changes the way you treat your children.
It is. And I still do that. In those moments, though, I yelled at the kids last night. I was frustrated. I should have checked that. I have to apologize to them. I mean, I do apologize in the moment after, whatever. But I'm still a good mom. I'm a good mom because I apologize to them. So it's not an excuse for shitty behavior, to clarify. And then after I started telling myself things that I do, one of my hardest things was to focus on my body. And then it's turned into, I like my eyes. I have a pretty nose. I like my shoulders. I think my knees are pretty neat. And that's stupid shit.
Yeah.
But it got me to the point of, I have no shame in doing sexy things for you anymore because I'm not ashamed of my body.
Right. Because you've built that up in yourself.
Right.
That's big.
Yeah.
we know the whole negative self-talk thing is a big deal in our household.
Yeah.
We've talked about that since the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
But our thoughts become things. And if you believe your thoughts and you have that in your head and you're constantly thinking those things, eventually you will start speaking those things. And as you're speaking those things, it's going to become problematic. Like you're going to believe those things. So when you're doing the positive affirmations to yourself, you will build that confidence. Is there more to that email, or as you just like totally got yourself some corn there?
It says, I'm very thankful for all that the show has taught me, and I'm really hoping I'll get to hear your thoughts on my story. Thank you so much for taking the time to read this. You're so appreciated.
All right. Well, since you're in the chat, is there anything else that you would like to discuss with us before we end this thing?
No, I think you guys covered everything. Thank you.
Right.
Was it helpful for you?
Yes. I
Okay.
did send Zach a message. You guys, I think, Chris, you had said something about possibly saving this to use later.
Yeah.
As long as my name isn't in it, we're good.
Okay.
We're golden.
Well, AJ will be able to hear this and hear you say that and then go back and clip it. I'll actually tell him the same thing as well. So,
Fantastic. Thank you.
yep, no problem. All right. Well, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and end the Zoom call.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
You as
Have
well.
a good night.
Bye.
Bloop. Leave meeting. All right. That was interesting. What do you think about that, babe? Obviously, I think that was probably a better case scenario for the first time of one of these, because that could have been a
Right.
fucking disaster.
It could have. I was also just thinking that was like the best case scenario.
Right.
So what's the worst?
Ugh. All right. This isn't helpful anymore. We got to go. Okay. Thanks. Bye.
I'm optimistic. I think this is... I have a lot of thought processes. Talk about this at the war table.
Okay. Ooh, I love that I am so attracted to you right now. Say that again.
Talk about it at the war table.
You are such a boss. I fucking love that you just said that. That is the highlight of my day.
Yeah.
Yep.